It's time for some more NileBlue. Specifically, making the most powerful Red Bull. 100 times. Yeah, a lot of reactor operators in the control room use energy drinks like Red Bull. It's a rotating shift job. Not sure about 100 times, though. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tyler Fultz. I'm a nuclear engineer with a little over 10 years of experience in the commercial nuclear power industry. From engineering to operations to emergency response. I don't claim to know everything there is nuclear, but I can certainly share some knowledge. Let's see.
A few years ago, when I was in Japan, I discovered this version of Monster called Monster Cubed, which is basically just a regular can of Monster, but it's been concentrated to 1/3 of its volume. I then tried it, and I really liked how strong it was, and I couldn't help but appreciate the efficiency of getting all of the caffeine and flavor without having to drink a bunch of extra water. It also got me wondering, though, why there aren't other concentrated forms of energy drinks like Red Bull, which I honestly prefer, and more importantly, I felt that it had to be possible to do better than just cubed. In my mind, it had to be possible.
I still love the little tape that says Nile's Blue on it when he's in Nile Blue mode instead of Nile Red mode.
To go way higher, up to something like 100 times as concentrated.
Okay, so in nuclear engineering, we know all about toxicity thresholds and how much radiation causes problems to occur. For radiation, that figures out to the LD50-60, that's a lethal dose to 50% of the population within 60 days, is about 5 sieverts, which is quite a lot of radiation. Caffeine also has a similar LD50-60 number. I believe that's around 10 grams. Grams, not milligrams, which is what it normally shows up in on nutrition labels, but grams. That figures out to around 100 cups of coffee in less than an hour. Something you need to be aware of when you do a times 100 multiplier on anything that is designed to be consumed by a human.
Where just one sip is equal to one entire energy drink. And,
dude.
Yeah, I felt that I don't know, I don't even have a reason. I just feel like I have to know what that tastes like. So today, we've finally decided to get to the bottom of that, and to do this, we bought...
Of course, you can't have a Nile Red video, especially not a Nile Blue video, without some obscure, highly specific, and expensive piece of equipment from China.
This giant machine from China. We also put together this amazing tower of 100 Red Bull cans.
Oh, cool.
And our goal,
just like you see at the grocery
or my
store.
belief, is that we'll be able to concentrate all of these cans down into just one can.
Sure, go ahead and compress it really hard. Inertial confinement fusion with Red Bull? I'm not sure I should be giving him that idea.
And I should mention that they're all sugar-free Red Bull, which is actually very important.
Well, that's good. You don't want to have too much sugar.
And, yeah, I'll explain why later on. But for now, to get started, the first step is to transfer all of them into a bucket.
Hope he doesn't have to go use the restroom.
Okay.
He's going to do this for every single one.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Is this going to be most of the video?
Wow. It was very exciting after the first one, but now that I'm seeing how slow it is, it's a lot less exciting. Yeah, this is gonna take forever. I'm gonna start accelerating this.
Do that enough with those tabs, you might want to get out the cut-resistant gloves for his fingers.
Dude. Let's go.
That's awesome. Just like that.
Oh, man. My fingers are gonna be blistered from this. Hurts.
Is he gonna have enough?
Okay.
Enough container size, that is?
Okay, we're so close. We literally have 6 cans left. But we're running into this problem that there are holes for the handles, and we are critically close. So
What if we tape it?
yeah, we're
Having little holes. So most people know that spent fuel pools, you don't want to have them, you don't want to have the water level get too low because you're going to have a lot of heat up problems. But you also don't want to have it get too high. You don't want it to spill over the surface and get nasty borated water. So the water is borated in a spent fuel pool to add additional shutdown margin, which is a fancy way of saying if you somehow tried to start a reaction in your spent fuel pool, it still wouldn't work because the boric acid in the water is going to absorb neutrons and shut down any potential fission reactions that might occur. But you don't want that spilling over the side. So there's actually a fair bit of a gap between the pool edge and the coping and where the water level is, and there's a whole bunch of water between where the water level is and where the fuel assemblies are located. Whereas this isn't giving him a whole lot of room, and it actually are holes placed to prevent you from filling it too high, in addition to anti-siphon devices to prevent you from going too far in the other direction.
gonna have to seal these up.
Tape, duct tape.
Okay, so we've done some amazing work on the bucket to plug the holes, and
Tape.
we can just keep going. Maybe in that time my fingers recovered. No,
Is he going to be able to carry this or move it without spilling after he gets it?
they still hurt.
Interesting consideration
Last
for you to
can.
take for that.
There it is.
Wonder how many bathroom breaks they needed for him to manually pour all those.
Finally done. All 100 cans are now in this container. And
Nice.
yeah, I mean, I know what our goal was, but it seems a lot more ambitious now. Because
Sure.
what we are trying to do is to get all of this, which should be 25 liters, concentrated down to just this.
Gotta compress it.
Let's go.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we better
I'm sure it's gonna involve vacuum drying.
get started with that. And our first step is to get a spoon and to start mixing.
Wait, why are we mixing?
That's another reason why you don't want to fill up your spent fuel pool too much, is because it's constantly mixing and you have pumps and you have skimmers in there. And here it looks like he's gonna spill some of it off.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get rid of as much of the fizz as we can, because we're gonna be loading it into the machine, and I don't think the machine likes carbonation. But
You're not just gonna sit it out for a while and have it go flat. Yeah, it would take a while, but some previous of his videos I've seen involved long hurry up and wait type periods, so I wouldn't put it past him.
I don't know.
So you're trying to get it flat right now.
Yeah, the goal is to get it flat, but I think this is gonna be brutal to do it this way.
Oh yeah.
So I have a better idea.
Okay, you're gonna want a larger container. It's gonna spill everywhere, man.
Oh man.
Oh, it's going up.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no! Oh.
There's your loss of coolant
Did I
accident.
not see that? There's just a river of Red Bull now.
Mostly foam.
Dude.
It worked too good.
Wait, catch that.
I've stayed away from energy drinks, but I wasn't aware of how much carbonation and foam was in them.
We don't have another container.
Catch it with your hands.
Shouldn't be surprised, though, considering how much was in there.
Oh God.
My gosh.
What a rookie mistake.
It's alright, man.
Are
That
we
happened to
adding
everybody.
that table juice in there?
No. I'm just trying to figure out how much we lost.
In the early days of nuclear power, they didn't really have a whole lot to go by. There's a reason in every operation procedure, including like spent fuel pool, fill, and transfer procedures, there is a huge list of notes and precautions about, hey, don't do this, or it could alter spent fuel pool level by a lot or something. And that was usually referencing sometime they did it 20, 30 plus years ago, and there were consequences.
So we can compensate.
Not necessarily accident level consequences, but making a mess or delaying the project kind of stuff.
Oh, it's just, look at the bits in there. It's just parts of the table.
Oh, yeah.
Bits of table.
Okay, so
Bettis' table's got a lot of impurities in there considering how many experiments he does on these.
I think we need to add double that back in if we were gonna make sure we're at the right can amount. And we actually have a few spares.
Sure.
So 1, 2.
After all, is conservative for this experiment at least 100 times concentration, so if you end up with 107 times, is that good or bad? Or is his goal at least 100?
3. Done. And I think what's nice is it looks like there's
Got a nice pile
more
of cans back there.
than before, which is good, because I mean, at the very least, I want there to be more, not less. So I think
Okay.
we're more at like 101
Yes, that answers that.
cans now-ish. So that's good. More is better.
All right.
Go slow this time.
Yeah, we'll be a little bit more moderate.
There you go.
Is that it?
I think it's done.
Oh yeah.
Appears to be working.
Yeah, that seems good.
Yeah, that's good. So I think all we need to do now is just do a little taste test to see how much fizz is in there. Yeah, that's flat. That's super flat. Okay, success. And I mean, we just gotta concentrate.
I don't recommend doing taste tests if you have an uncertain number of unidentified liquid when you're dealing with components in the nuclear power plant. I've heard crazy stories, though, back in the day of a certain engineer with a calibrated tongue putting his finger in something, licking it, and say, yeah, that's caustic. And it's like, you don't say.
Concentrate it. So, step 1,
Probably not true, but you never know.
transfer it to this convenient little cart. Oh God, I don't want to spill it.
Oh, okay.
And now, turn it on. And we have this incredibly complicated looking diagram.
What is this?
Nice.
I think it looks complicated, but it's not actually that complicated. Regardless, I think step 1 is simple. We take this little noodle and we just stick
Noodle.
it in our bucket. Okay. And yeah, the next step is to just open this door for this vent, drop the exhaust out into there,
Okay.
and
There you go, that's good. He has an area designed to put his exhaust, because you don't want to necessarily put it in areas and where it can be a problem and cause some sort of toxic gas intrusion.
the next question is just how does any of this work?
Does it have instructions that
Oh
are
yeah,
in?
yeah. So we have a bunch of stuff here. We have a temperature setting, fan, pump, and needle. And I think the best thing we can do is just go for it. So it's already set to 150
Press
C.
the
I think I'm
edit
just
key.
going to turn the heating on. Okay, and then the fan is set to 100 hertz. I'll just turn that on. And then that's loud.
That's a fan.
That's actually so loud. And now the air compressor. Okay, and then we turn on the needle. And the last thing that we need to do is just turn on the pump. Okay, this little thing starts turning, and it should be sucking up our Red Bull. So,
As it does.
look, it's sucking the Red Bull.
Look how small the nozzle is for
There you go.
that thing.
Okay, I think that's good.
There's a Red Bull.
Okay, it's in. So it should be getting there in a second, and it should start blasting Red Bull in.
There it is. I see it.
You saw a little spritz?
Yeah.
Oh, there. There it is. So what it's doing here is it's just blasting a mist of the Red Bull in while also swirling it around with really hot air. And the idea is that it's just instantly drying. And I was really not sure how this was going to work out. But look, it looks like there is powder collecting in there.
So driving off the water, leaving behind sugars, caffeine, acids, whatever else is in that powdery stuff. There are some scenarios in nuclear plants where you take a coolant sample, you depressurize, you boil it off in order to separate the water from the dissolved isotopes. Though in this case, without precise control, I guess you could risk overheating the mixture of powders and caramelizing it.
Are you starting to collect?
Depends on how good the machine is.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
operator.
look at that.
Oh my, yeah, you can see the powder at the bottom. So, I should also further explain, I didn't even really say that, this machine just removes all the water. And the idea is that by removing all the water, you're left with just the essential parts of the Red Bull, which in the case of a zero sugar drink is very...
I guess you don't want to pile a buildup of sugar. Okay. You don't want to have to separate the sugar from the caffeine, if that's your goal.
Little stuff. The problem with the stuff with sugar is that a huge percent of it's sugar, so you're just never going to be able to concentrate it.
Yeah, it would also increase the risk of caramelizing it.
Okay, so why don't we just put it in a food dehydrator or something?
I mean, yeah, we could have just, I guess, just put it into a giant food dehydrator, but this is supposed to be much better at preserving the flavor, and it's also supposed to be at least several times faster.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, guess that makes sense.
Plus, he has an excuse to get another crazy piece of equipment from China.
Do you think it's starting to turn brown a bit? Does that have something to do with the heat?
I could.
Like, if it's too hot, will it start to cook it or something?
Yeah, I think the heat could affect it. But it also could just be that when we saw very small amounts, it was white. But when you get more, you start to see the off color of it.
This is somewhat analogous to when you have spent fuel and you're doing thermal treatment to convert it into Purex. Because water, just like in a reactor where it carries away heat, the water in the Red Bull is the system's thermal buffer. So it's going to increase the system's specific energy of what's left in the caffeine. And it's going to be ultra enriched in a relatively small volume.
I doubt it would be a perfectly... There's dyes in it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
It's literally brown. So the powder should be brown. I just don't like that it's sticking a bit up there.
It could be a lighter brown.
But the fact that it's going there means there's enough loose powder. I just think we're not actually generating that much. Like, I put it at 20, but I think that's 20 milliliters a minute. That's not very much.
No.
That's going to take a long time to go through that bucket.
That's a liter an hour. So it might be looking to like 30 hours to do this.
All right, multiple shifts, and then you're going to have the bucket watch. There are often tasks, for plant operators especially, to have to watch something across multiple shifts where you just trade off. Usually it's something called Slinky Watch, which during a refueling outage where you operate at reduced inventory for a system fill event in the reactor vessel, you'll have a plant operator watch a level indicator. Doesn't exactly look like a Slinky, looks more like shutters, but everybody called it the Slinky Watch, and that's because in a certain level you're sort of in a blind spot. Not really, because reactor operators can monitor it on a camera, but you're at a level where you don't put electronics in there. And that's because normally you're pressurized and heated up that the electronics aren't going to work. It's a very specific situational operating configuration why you'd even use the Slinky to begin with.
So we just have to leave it here, and we'll just keep occasionally checking on it, I guess, to make sure that it's not
the Slinky
exploding.
Watch.
Okay, so we're making some progress.
Tangible progress.
Started up at around here. We got here. We've probably gotten through like 20 cans so far, I think. That's not bad. And if you look in here,
depends how many hours we're severing.
That's good.
Oh, there
we're
you
actually
have it.
collecting something.
Yeah, lighter brown.
The problem is that I just don't think it's possible to avoid getting a lot of it stuck in this section. We've tried to minimize it by
you have to flush it or something.
Changing a bunch of
Yeah, you'd have to flush it, which kind of defeats your purpose.
these settings here, lowering the overall heating temperature and slowing down how much is pumped in per minute. And it seems to have helped. We actually are getting a decent amount in here, but I think overall this process is just a bit doomed to be kind of messy.
About 25 hours later. So when you have a higher enrichment, it's definitely more energy density per volume, which is kind of their goal. This is an enrichment machine for Red Bull, but it's going to have higher viscosity and lower flow stability, so handling it's going to be kind of obnoxious, I predict.
Here it is. The last of the Red Bull. Just got to make sure the tube is fully in there. Okay.
Gonna have it suck up that last. Yep.
And officially all in the hose.
There you go.
It's through. The last drops.
Good to the last drop.
It's done. Woo. Okay, first of all, shut up. Okay.
Oh,
Second of all,
turn it off.
Turn all this off. Turn the heating off. And we're finally done. But I don't know how to feel because I don't really like that. I don't like how orange and covered with gunk it is. I also don't like how dark this part is. It looks cool. Don't get me wrong.
Like a
it looks really cool, but I don't really like that.
Looks like sediment.
One thing I don't like is this. This whole section here is kind of dark, but that's the exit pipe. And there's also...
That's right, eh?
Yeah, and there's also a little bit of powder around what's supposed to be a seal there, which I also don't like. It
Did you exceed this machine's limits?
definitely means that... It definitely means there was some loss. So... What I do like, though, is this. It really does look like we have a crap ton of powder down there. And that's good. There is some, in some way, shape, or form, powdered Red Bull in here. And I'm pretty excited to see what's in there.
Ultra concentrated.
So, fan off. Power down. Silence. Finally. Let's start taking it apart.
This is kind of like when you do enrichment and you have the uranium hexafluoride before you actually fabricate it into fuel with the uranium dioxide.
Just got to remove the bottle. And, okay.
Oh my gosh. What's in there?
Look at that.
Whoa,
Wow.
that's all powder.
I don't think it's truly supposed to look like that.
It
Do the cinnamon challenge.
Yeah. Also,
I hear cracking.
yeah, this thing is cracking.
Oh yeah, look, you can see the cracks.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I thought it was...
this is one way to find out the safety limits of things.
I was hoping it'd only be a thin layer in there, but if it's cracking, it means there's a substantial amount that is trapped in here.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is not what we wanted.
So in the bottom jar is all like the vitamins, powders, and all that stuff.
I think so.
And the top is all the flavoring?
Yeah, it might be the flavor, the dye, and the sweetness.
Again, kind of how you separate out various components using centrifuges of some sort during enrichment. Though this isn't a centrifuge, in this case, except it's gunking up your pipe.
We need that top part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the energy is here and all the flavor is there.
Oh no.
We're gonna have to figure this out. But
Gonna flush it out?
in the meantime, I really wanna know what's in this. I wanna see how like solid it is. It's just falling apart.
Yep.
The rock.
Okay. As a point of safety here, I should say that I have no idea what percent of this is caffeine. There could be a lot of caffeine, so I am being careful not to breathe in the dust.
That's a good point.
Okay, I beat it up a lot. I don't know if you can see inside. There's a lot of powder. And now when we weigh it, hopefully, it's close to 100 Red Bulls worth.
91 grams.
That's not good. Yeah, and that is...
How much are we supposed to be expecting?
Well, considering in every can, it's listed that there's 1 gram of taurine. And with 100 cans, that means we should have at least
100 grams.
100 grams.
Something.
Of just taurine.
Yeah.
But we have 91 grams total.
Yeah, so we're short here. I'm really hoping it's all stuck in the vortexer.
The vortex.
Well, how do we get that out?
We'll deal with that in a second. What I want to do first is just take a better look at our powder here.
Whoa.
And one thing I want to do...
I mean, if this was done in a nuclear lab, you're gonna probably see some alarms associated with your equipment, such as pressure spikes and closed vessels that can lead to cracking, maybe some for thermal runaway during drying steps. Though I will say he did avoid a significant fire hazard by having them be sugar-free, because high heat plus sugar could have fire hazards or even carbon monoxide. Just to be sure, though, I'm glad he had the exhaust pointing into a different location. It didn't look like any of this was done near a fume hood or anything like that. So if you're going to scale this process up, and he knows this, obviously you're going to need better venting, filtration, filters, fume hoods. I know he has fume hoods, but this is just like during fission in nuclear reactors. You actually have fission gas because uranium-235 will make krypton and xenon gas. Now those are inert, but it's mainly pressure. You're creating a pressurized gas that just needs to be vented.
Is kind of want to just test what it tastes like. But
dude,
there is a strong chance that the huge amount of this is caffeine, so we have to be careful. Okay, so on the end of here, that's probably like 10 to 20 milligrams, and I'll just taste it.
So a factor of 1,000 before you're looking at the LD5060, and a factor of 100 less than anything that could cause severe harm, just based on the caffeine way. So
honestly, it tastes pretty good. There's actually definitely some sweetener in there.
Huh.
It's a bit sweet. There's
so much for sugar-free.
flavor in there. I don't know. I think this is basically powdered Red Bull. So, I mean, I think things, considering everything, are going pretty good. And for my estimation, what we have here is probably
approach,
like
but sure,
20 to 30 cans worth. That's pretty good. We're missing like 70 to 80, so that's not good. But I'm hoping they're all in this vortex.
30% efficiency.
So should we try to remove it?
Yeah, so I think that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to take this thing off.
Yeah, looks like it comes off. Yeah.
Okay. We got our vortexer. And
you gonna taste the vortex?
I'm gonna try to get some of this goo out, but let's see if I can pick at the edges. Oh my god.
This is just hilarious.
This is gonna be rough.
Sad minutes.
I have to say, this is not the process that I envisioned. This is not the process.
You gotta do that all the way down?
It's not happening. I'll keep trying.
You're gonna have to just break it, bite the bullet. Man.
Oh, there you go. You got it. Nice. Dude, you're getting some big chunks.
Oh my god, that's... Okay. Let's see what we have.
Needless to say, if you're handling enriched fuel or fuel that's in a process of being enriched, you're not going to manually be trying to get it unstuck. Extreme got radiation hazards and the chemical hazards just from the being uranium fluoride.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Whoa.
Got some large chunks there. I can
Red
dump
Bull
the
paint
other end.
chips.
Whoa, dude.
Okay. Can add it in here.
See how much it weighs.
That's pretty good. Yeah, let's just keep going. Try to get as much as we can.
Okay, he's putting on a
Have to be
N95
careful now,
mask.
'cause if I push too hard, I can break the bottom. I don't know. I don't think the back end's gonna work.
It's oddly satisfying when you try to get this stuff out of there. It's stuck.
It's really caked on there.
Yeah. Nah, this is sad, pathetic, and hopeless.
Damn.
We still got a good amount though.
Red Bull dirt.
Finally. Ugh. Let's see how much powder there was. Oh, 130. Plus the 90 in the bottle.
Okay.
That's like 220 total. That's not bad. But there is still clearly a whole bunch still caked on.
Yeah.
And I mean, clearly scraping it's not working anymore. But I do have a theory on how to get it all out. Before I do that though, I do just want to quickly verify that this tastes okay.
The old taste test.
Will this taste good? We shall see. Honestly, that's like really good. That's like surprisingly good. I thought it was gonna be just awful.
It's like PB2.
It's just it's a slightly sour candy is what it tastes like. Interesting. But either way, we need to clean this out. And to do that, we just gotta get it back onto the machine. Okay, attach the vortexer, reattach the bottle, get rid of this bucket, add a jar
Just
of water.
some water. Okay. Give it a
Start
little
the
flush.
beautiful fan noise again. Turn on the heating. And the compressor, of course. And the idea now, basically, is that I'm hoping that by just pulling pure water through the system, it will just rain down and wash everything and basically clean all of the extra stuff that's on the walls here and in the middle and just wash it down into this bottle, cleaning that bottle as well. So basically getting all of the stuff that's caked in here into here and here.
That is a similar process that is used when batching boric acid. So boric acid comes in these big drums and has to get batched in a big hopper. Not too much unlike this. It's just on a much larger scale. And when being batched, you usually put in a big shot of water just to clean everything out because it's all powdery and stuff when you do that. before it gets sent out to the boric acid tank, which is going to be at an elevated concentration. To give you a sense of scale, the boric acid tanks are over 7,000 parts per million, and the concentration of boric acid in an operating reactor, depending on where you are in core life, is going to be anywhere from 1,400 parts per million to less than 20 when you're at the end of core life. And of course, the idea is as the fuel is burned up and you're making less fission from fuel, you dilute the reactor coolant system with pure water in order to lower the concentration of boric acid. So less boron is absorbing the neutrons and more of them can cause fission as your fuel goes down. That way the reactor maintains steady state 100% power throughout the core life. So oddly enough, one way of measuring a reactor's lifespan is just by looking at the boric acid content. And on the flip side, if you're borating the reactor coolant system in order to reduce reactivity and lower reactor power, that's where the boric acid tank of 7,000 plus parts per million comes in. Because that's always a much higher concentration than the reactor coolant system. And a reactor, when it's shut down, is on the order of 2,500, 2,800 parts per million. So it's still a very high concentration in that tank.
Which hopefully will give us close to a 100% recovery.
What's it? Only a few minutes.
Oh!
I got some of it off.
The exact pattern that we saw before. And it's all changing here, too. So it's
Is it accumulating around the cracks? I can't quite tell.
Okay. Slowly washing it. I think it's a waiting game.
Might need more water.
Okay, so it's getting there, but this is almost full, so we're just gonna have to quickly drain it.
It might not be 100 times, but you could have some really concentrated Red Bull just in the runoff of this thing.
Alright, so it's way cleaner, and it unfortunately wasn't able to do some of this blue on the side, or completely clean that part, but I think this is pretty good.
It's like a coffee machine.
Whoa. It's so concentrated.
Are you going to taste test that one?
Alright, that's it. And in theory, besides the maybe, I would say couple grams at most that are stuck inside of this, this should be the last of our Red Bull. We unfortunately ended up collecting way more water than I expected, though.
It's always good to account for everything that goes into a system or a process and make sure it comes out somewhere.
And this is probably
Control
like,
volume analysis.
I don't know, 500 mils? Or maybe more, I don't know. But it's definitely more than the 250 mils of a single Red Bull can. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to try it out a little bit.
What's interesting is I know when he says mils, he means milliliters, but at the plant that I worked at, being in the US, a mil is also 1,000th of an inch, which is a really weird unit because in the not metric system, you very rarely see 1,000th of anything. But obviously I know he means milliliters.
And I'll throw it in a food dehydrator. So, turn it on, and now we wait.
Whoa.
We were able to get some nice, crispy...
Okay, I can see why he got that very specific machine. I mean, yeah, that thing was a lot smaller, about the size of a coffee maker, but yeah.
Little Red Bull nuggets. And, yeah. We finally have
Forced run.
everything. We have crispy nuggets.
Forced drying is also used when you when you're going the other direction and you're not, say, re-enriching your uranium, you're processing spent fuel and putting it into a dry cast storage. In that case, you're using forced helium drying. I have to say, you can do it in a lot less than 10 days, but it's a pretty big system.
Our yellow powder and our kind of glassy shards.
You've compartmentalized. And
I've gone ahead and reweighed everything so we know exactly how much we have. And in this bowl, we were able to recover 62.3 grams. And in this little one, we have 61.41 grams. And of the shards, we got a nice and healthy amount of 128.9 grams. Okay. And in total, this gives us 252.6 grams of solid Red Bull.
The solid ingredients.
While we were waiting for this one to dry, I went back through some notes and I realized that I actually did fully dry out 1 can of sugar-free Red Bull about a year ago. And the total that I got for that was 3.8 grams.
Okay.
I then did a little bit of complicated math, and we're short 33 and a half cans of Red Bull.
33 and a half?
So 2/3 efficiency.
Just like disappeared?
Yeah, 33 and a half cans of Red Bull was just pumped.
Did it get puffed into the next room?
Pumped into the air. I did suspect that would happen, but I thought...
And again, that's where the thermal processes show up, because, yeah, it's just going to be heat loss.
Maybe we'd lose like 1. But either way, at first, I was a little bit sad and concerned because the goal was, 100 cans. But after seeing this, I realized that there may be a physical limitation that science cannot overcome.
What do you mean?
I've gone and measured out 250 mils of water. I don't think that amount of water can dissolve all of this solid.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So in a way, I think it was a blessing.
Yeah, not without compressing said solid to ridiculous. Though even then, it wouldn't be dissolved. It'd just be kind of sitting there. It'd be like a big old rock sitting at the bottom of there.
That we lost so many cans, because I feel like we're now on the precipice of what will even fit in 250 mils.
So this would make it Red Bull what then?
So if we're able to accomplish
Times
this,
60?
This will be Red Bull 67X. Still pretty good.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, come on, it's better than Monster 3. With that being said, we now need to rebuild the Red Bull. And I think the first step to do that,
like those are little Lego pieces, and you're gonna put them together,
is to combine all of our different powders. So I think we'll start with the shards.
This one does.
Oh. Okay. Now for the mega dust. Oh my god. Now we gotta mix it around. This is amazing looking. This truly looks like something.
No idea.
This is like dirt.
That's
maybe PB2 with chocolate in it.
I think that's good. So
coconut.
All we need to do is take this water, 250 mils of water, because that's the volume of 1 Red Bull can. And now
this is better than him trying to squeeze it into a can from the start anyway. All right.
Okay, I'll start stirring.
Oh wow.
It's already getting syrupy.
So I guess reintroducing the taste testing levels is a bit like adjusting the moderator density in a pressurized water reactor to reach the right reactivity and power level. And if it's incorrect, it's going to be, could either be sickly sweet, which looks to be the direction it's going, or underwhelming and flat, which I don't think is going to be too much of a risk with just 250 milliliters anyway.
Dude, it's pretty chunky. I don't...
Looks like a vile soup.
It is dissolving.
Yeah.
Some of it is. Yeah.
Come on.
It all should. I mean, it was dissolved earlier.
Oh, it looks toxic. It looks fluorescently toxic. I'm starting to smell it. It smells so sweet. It smells
sure it
illegally sweet. Deadly sweet.
Sickeningly sweet. 15 tedious minutes later.
I think we did it. There's nothing on the walls. It feels like nice clean glass on the bottom. Also, the goopiness tells us that it's very concentrated. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's not see-through tells us that it's absolutely full of solid stuff.
Like what? Like the vitamins and stuff, maybe? Caffeine?
Taurine, caffeine, yeah. Vitamins, I don't know.
Holy moly. Are you gonna try it?
I'm tempted. I'm tempted to just scoop it up and try it. But I think in order to make a real, proper Red Bull, it has to be carbonated.
I'm gonna carbonate it
first. And to do
first.
that,
okay.
The first step is to get it all into this bottle.
Sure. Use a little spritz.
Okay. Now dump this into the rest.
It's just floating on top.
That's good. The one thing you might notice is that, well, you can't see the line here, but on the back it says 450 mils. So
okay.
Clearly this is more than 250. And I don't know, I was in some dream world. I was hoping that it would just all magically dissolve in 250 and stay at 250 mils, but that makes absolutely no sense.
I was gonna say that would take ridiculous pressure for it to be approximately 250 to the point where you wouldn't. Yeah, there's just no way that's working, man. I don't know.
Just by coincidence, this is actually kind of a good thing, because to carbonate it, that's the minimum amount that you need. You need 450 mils.
In whatever device it is you're carbonating.
Everything's turning out.
Those little soda makers, I guess.
Oh, that's good. That's not bad. Oh my god. It has mass.
I'm not gonna say it.
Okay. I think we're good.
Let's go. Let's do this. Oh gosh.
It should be
Here
good.
It comes.
Dude. Oh. No.
The noise that it made. Okay. Sounded like a
curdling.
demented toilet for a sec.
It's so thick that the bubbles they're just getting stuck and moving so slowly. Should we just like try to take it off?
Yeah. Slowly. Slowly. Just let some air out.
Oh no.
Well, the good news for all this, in addition to it not being 100 times or 67 times, plus the carbon displacing that, is, yeah, you're having a lot less margin to any dangerous dose limits for caffeine.
Oh. Oh.
Nice.
It worked.
All right. They got something.
This is very special. We've created something amazing and very special here. And I think I need to know if it was worth all the work. We need to know what this glorious, glorious drink tastes like.
It's a fascinating experiment.
Before doing that, though, I should just think for a second about how concentrated it is, you know, just for safety reasons.
Have a teeny,
we had
tiny,
66 and a half Red Bulls in 250 mils, but then the volume went up. So
yeah, that dilutes
scaled to the concentration of 1 can, this is like 1.8 cans of Red Bull at a concentration of 37 times. And that means that 1 Red Bull is about 7 milliliters of this. It's half a tablespoon.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. Okay. Just have a teeny tiny amount.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like anything, even the most radioactive materials. If you have the tiniest, most infinitesimal amount to the point where you wouldn't be able to taste it, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
It's all about orders of magnitude.
Holy.
Okay. So now I got these little measuring things, and there's actually half a tablespoon, so 7.5 mils.
Okay, so
we can dose
basically
this
like
properly.
drinking a Red Bull really fast is what this is going to approximate.
And I'll do it a heaping one. So this is more than 7.5. It's probably 9 or 10. But
so if Red Bull gives you wings, kind of wings would drinking this whole thing give you? Really big ones, like 747 size?
But it's so foamy that it balances out. I don't know how much science is going on here, but in my mind, this is...
I'm gonna say not very much. This was kind of a big wing it sort of thing and see what happens, which I enjoy watching, and why it's NileBlue versus Nile Red, but hey, it's all in good fun and it's all educational.
Roughly equivalent to 1 Red Bull. And you know, I would be very tempted to just
knock it back,
do it, but I don't know. I'll have to ease my way into this, you know.
Right.
I have to know if I have to see if I even like the flavor. So I guess that's what I'll do now.
Let's see.
Let's see. Was this all worth it? Weeks of drying Red Bull.
Speedy?
Whoa. That's crazy. Crazy good. Legitimately, there's so much citric acid in it. I don't know what happened to the sweetener. The sweetener's gone. This tastes like some sort of sour candy. It's genuinely really good though.
You like sour candies? Can't say they're my
But the
cup
one
of
thing I
tea,
should
but-
say is there's the carbonation's undetectable.
Oh, it didn't do anything?
I think the carbonation was not worth it. You want to try some?
Yeah, okay, let's go, dude. I'm kind of hyped.
Okay.
That's perfect. Oh, man.
All right, let's see.
Ooh!
The sour effects.
That's really sour, dude. That is super sour. It's grainy, too.
I think that's
Grainy.
the pure citric acid.
It's so grainy. What? Wow. Yeah, I don't know how to describe this.
I'm not interested
Aside from
in
it
trying
tasting
that
like just
myself.
straight up chemicals. If I could rate this, I'd give this like a, I don't know. I don't even know what to compare it to. Like a 4 on 10.
Okay.
Oh,
Here.
Meh,
Okay,
it's okay.
so I mean, you know, I personally would rate it 9.5 on 10.
that's a lie.
No, genuinely. It's like, I can see
you
in
like
the
that
morning
kind of
you
stuff,
need to
I
wake
guess.
up. It's a jolt to your brain. This is a whole new product. Clearly, we're not able to get the 100 cans of Red Bull that I predicted
You
into
got 30
a volume
plus,
of
though.
250 mils. And
That's
our
definitely
limitation
something.
was, I think, physics and
Water
other laws
volume.
of science.
Physics, that's the annoying one, right? Whenever it stops you from having nice things, like fusion reactors, for instance, or at least cost-effective ones. This is probably about as cost-effective as a fusion reactor, spending this much effort to have, like, really concentrated Red Bull versus less so if you take into account the time and cost of everything he needed, even if he did scale it up somehow. Not to mention he'd have to invest in way more safety protocols and procedures, which I know he's capable of doing, but this might be about as cost-effective as fusion.
So I don't know if we're really going to be cracking that barrier anytime soon.
Yeah.
But I think this is more than good enough. I think that 37 gets the job done. And I think overall...
Wait a minute. Isn't the 37 Veritasium special number? There it is.
This turned out better than I expected. And I'm happy with that. We created, successfully, Red Bull 37. And, I mean, I don't think we should let it go to waste,
awesome.
so...
I actually think it would be interesting if Red Bull sponsored him. I know Red Bull has a lot of extreme sports events, like jumping from the stratosphere or the Red Bull low-flying plane race, but here we got some extreme science, so why not?
All right.
I wouldn't recommend
that's not
that,
even fun
though.
to joke about. That's just straight up fatal. Okay, so over the last few months, I've been tasting this every so often just to see if I really do still like it. And I have to say that I do. I personally think that the sourness and just the sheer
It's probably not for everyone,
weird
but sure.
chemical taste that it has is actually really good. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential here
You put your heart into it, too. I'm sure there's some of that.
for an amazing future product. Some people, though, have been completely disagreeing, and they say that it's absolutely horrific and that it's definitely really bad for me. And
I mean, it's not going to get past any FDA approvals or anything like that, I can tell you that much.
they're probably right.
Always a joy to watch this. Thanks so much for the recommendation, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.